There is an American somewhere in Iran right now. His name has not been released. His age has not been released. His home state has not been released. His family does not know if he is alive. The US military does not know where he is. Iran's government is offering a cash reward to any civilian who finds him first, and somewhere over southwestern Iran on Friday morning, day 34 of this war, the F-15E Strike Eagle he was flying in was shot down. One of two crew members was rescued by US Special Forces. The other one, the weapons systems officer, is still out there, somewhere in the mountains and valleys of Kogalui and Boyar Ahmad province in southwestern Iran, while the search enters its second day, while Iran's state television tells civilians to hand him over to police, while an Iranian TV anchor told viewers to shoot them if you see them, while the governor of the province is offering a bounty for his capture. This is the story I am covering today, because it is not just a military incident. It is the story of one American, one person with a family somewhere in the United States who is either hiding in hostile territory, injured, captured, or dead, and the United States military is running a dangerous and complex search operation inactive enemy airspace to find him right now while you are watching this video. Let me take you through every documented detail in chronological order, starting with what happened on Friday, and then showing you why this incident shatters every public claim the Trump administration has made about this war for the last 5 weeks. It was the first time US aircraft have been down since the war began, and came 2 days after President Donald Trump declared in a national address that the United States had beaten and completely decimated Iran and would finish the job quickly. 2 days after Trump's prime-time address, 2 days after he told the American public the war is almost over, 2 days after he said Iran is beaten and completely decimated, an Iranian missile or surface-to-air weapon system reached up and pulled a US F-15E Strike Eagle out of the sky over Iranian territory. And here is the statement that makes that fact even more extraordinary. Now, in our 5th week of the campaign, it is my operational assessment that we are making undeniable progress. We don't see their Navy sailing, we don't see their aircraft flying, and their air and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper said Thursday, largely destroyed Thursday, the day before an F-15E was shot down. Trump said Iran had not a thing it could do to stop potential US strikes on oil infrastructure. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force, he said. 100% annihilated, unstoppable, Wednesday, 2 days before an American fighter jet was shot down and its crew member is missing inside the country whose air defenses were described as 100% annihilated. Now let me walk you through the sequence of events on Friday, because it is more complex and more dangerous than any single headline captures. The F-15E Strike Eagle went down over Iran. The F-15E is a 2-seat aircraft. It carries a pilot and a weapons systems officer. Both crew members ejected. US Special Forces launched an immediate combat search and rescue operation. One of 2 crew members was rescued by US Special Forces, and the search for the second is ongoing. An Israeli official and a second source with knowledge of the situation told Axios. 1 rescued, 1 missing. The rescued crew member was extracted by US helicopter. That helicopter was then hit by small arms fire, wounding crew members on board. The helicopter landed safely. All service members are receiving initial medical treatment and will be transported for further medical care. Let me read that again. The rescue helicopter that went in to save the downed F-15 crew member was hit by small arms fire. The rescue mission itself was attacked and succeeded anyway. That is the courage it takes to pull someone out of hostile territory in an active war zone. Now let me show you the A-10 Warthog, because a second American plane went down the same day, and almost nobody is covering that part of the story with the depth it deserves. An A-10 Warthog was part of the search and rescue mission when it took fire and was damaged. The Warthog pilot ejected over the Persian Gulf and was successfully recovered, according to the officials. The A-10 Thunderbolt, to nickname the Warthog, is a close air support aircraft specifically designed to fly low and slow over the battlefield supporting ground troops. It was sent in as part of the rescue operation for the F-15 crew. Iran hit it. The pilot ejected over the Persian Gulf. He was rescued, the A-10 Warthog. A attack plane went down near the Strait of Hormuz about the same time an Air Force F-15E was shot down over Iran. Same day, same general operation, 2 American planes down. The first time US aircraft have been downed by enemy fire since the war began on February 28. The first time US jets have been shot down in combat in over 20 years, the last being an A-10 during the 2003 invasion of Iraq to US military Blackhawk. Helicopters that were involved in search and rescue efforts were also struck by Iranian fire. The service members were unharmed. For American aircraft hit in one day, an F-15E and A-10, 2 Blackhawk helicopters, all in the context of a single search and rescue operation for the crew of the downed F-15. all hit by a country whose air defenses were described as 100% annihilated 48 hours earlier. Now let me show you what Iran did next, because the Iranian response to the downed jet is one of the most alarming aspects of this story, and it reveals something important about the ground-level reality of this conflict. Iranian state TV channels called on civilians in the area where the jet was downed to search for the two reported crew members, with whoever locates them being told they would receive some kind of reward from the government, a cash reward offered by the Iranian government to any civilian who finds and delivers an American service member, and then the Iranian state TV anchor went further. An on-screen crawl earlier urged the public to shoot them if you see them, referring to videos circulating of what appeared to be US aircraft in the area. The semi-official Mehr news agency later published videos that it said showed brave locals firing at US helicopters with guns. Shoot them if you see them, that is what Iran's state television was telling its civilians about a missing American service member in the mountains of southwestern Iran. Meanwhile, the Iranian government also issued a contradictory statement. The Iranian armed forces said they had called on the people not to let anyone mistreat the pilot. So the state broadcaster says shoot them. The armed forces say do not mistreat them. Two different messages, simultaneous, to the same civilian population in a country under active bombardment where communications infrastructure has been heavily damaged. Regional Iranian officials have denied reports that one of the pilots from the downed American aircraft has been found and arrested. The governor of Kogilu'i and Boyar Ahmad province called claims that the U.S. has rescued the missing crew member a tactic of the enemy. Claims and counterclaims, Iran's government denying the rescue happened, the U.S. confirming one crew member was rescued, Iran's state media publishing images of F-15 wreckage and an ejection seat, the governor offering a bounty, the armed forces saying do not mistreat, the TV anchor saying shoot them, and somewhere in all of that, an American service member. Now let me show you what the search and rescue mission looks like from the American side, because a U.S. Special Forces veteran spoke to CNN about what makes this mission very dangerous and complex. It's almost impossible to, without fully sweeping with ground forces and taking all of a certain area of territory, which in this case would be, huge areas of Iran, it's not possible to completely eliminate, said Justin Bronk, the senior research fellow for air power and technology at the Royal United Services Institute. Not possible to completely eliminate the threat without ground forces sweeping entire areas of Iran. The rescue mission is flying helicopters into active Iranian airspace that just shot down an F-15 and hit two more helicopters and an A-10 to search for one person in the mountains of southwestern Iran. Iran's state-run Tasnim news agency said the search for any missing crew had so far been unsuccessful. A spokesperson for the Iranian Armed Forces headquarters celebrated the downing as Black and Humiliating Friday for the U.S. and Israel. Iran's military has vowed to regain full control over the country's skies. Black and Humiliating Friday, that is Iran's armed forces spokesperson, framing the downing of an F-15E as a turning point narrative in a war where the American government had been publicly claiming total air superiority for 5 weeks, and Israel paused its own strikes in Iran on Friday night specifically to avoid interfering with the U.S. search and rescue operation. Israel suspended airstrikes in Iran amid the U.S. search and rescue effort after a F-15E fighter jet was downed on Friday, according to the Associated Press. Israel paused its war for America to search for one man. Now let me show you what Trump said when asked about the downed jet, because his response is the most important presidential statement of this entire war. And it was 3 words. President Trump told NBC News that the downing of the F-15 fighter jet would not affect any negotiations with Iran. No, not at all, Trump told NBC News Garrett Hawk, no, it's war. No, it's war. That is the President of the United States. When told his military's F-15 was shot down and a crew member is missing in enemy territory. No, not at all. No, it's war. He is right that it is war. But here is the problem with that statement. The entire premise of Trump's prime-time address 2 days earlier was that the war is almost over, that America will be leaving very soon, that Iran has been put into the Stone Ages, that their air defenses are 100% annihilated, that the U.S. is unstoppable. If those statements were true, if Iran's air defenses were truly 100% annihilated, then a US F-15E would not have been shot down 2 days later. The incident involving the F-15 jet serves as a reminder that even with air superiority, US forces remain vulnerable to Iranian threats. It's not air dominance, there's not a complete absence of threat, said Justin Bronk of the Royal United Services Institute. Not air dominance, not a complete absence of threat. Those are the words of an air power expert at a respected British Defense Institute, directly challenging the language that American officials, the President, the Defense Secretary, the CENTCOM commander have been using publicly to describe the state of this war. Now let me give you the full picture of American losses since the war began, because the F-15 crew is not an isolated incident. The US military has lost at least 16 MQ-9 Reaper drones over Iran since the war began. 3 US F-15 fighter jets were shot down over Kuwait in a friendly fire incident early in the conflict. But there were no casualties. 365 US troops have been wounded in action. 13 US service members have been killed. 2 more died of non-combat causes. 16 drones, 3 friendly fire F-15s, 365 wounded, 13 killed. Now 1 F-15E shot down by Iran with 1 crew member still missing, and roughly half of Iran's missile launchers are still intact despite daily pounding by US and Israeli strikes, according to recent US intelligence assessments. 3 sources told CNN. Half of Iran's missile launchers still intact after 34 days of strikes, after the president said Iran's military is all gone, after the CENTCOM commander said their air and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed, after Trump said their radar is 100% annihilated, half intact after 34 days. Now let me show you what is also happening while the search continues, because the war did not pause for the missing crew member. Only Israel's strikes paused briefly. A growing range of key Iranian industries are being targeted by US Israeli strikes, including steel plants, cement factories, and petrochemical complexes. Saturday also saw an attack that killed 1 person at the perimeter of an Iranian nuclear power plant, according to state media. Russia's state-owned nuclear energy company said nearly 200 of its staff members have since evacuated the facility. A nuclear power plant struck at its perimeter, Russian staff evacuating, the IAEA demanding maximum restraint near nuclear facilities. The war is getting closer to the most dangerous possible targets every single day. And Iran this week approved a bill to charge vessels for crossing the Strait of Hormuz. Trump issued a new 48-hour deadline saying all hell will rain down if the strait is not reopened by Monday. The same strait he said just days ago that other countries can fend for themselves to reopen. The same strait through which 20% of the world's oil passes. The same strait that has driven gas to over $4 a gallon. Now let me give you the human dimension, because this story is ultimately about 1 person. The F-15E is flown by a 2-member crew, a pilot and a weapons systems officer. The pilot was rescued. The weapons systems officer is missing. The Pentagon has notified the House Armed Services Committee that the status of the second service member remains unknown. Unknown. That is the official word. Not captured. Not dead. Not safe. Unknown. Somewhere in southwestern Iran, in a province where the governor is offering a bounty, where Iran's TV anchor told civilians to shoot on sight, where the search and rescue mission has now entered its 2nd day. The last time a U.S. fighter jet was shot down in combat was in a 10 Thunderbolt II during the 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq, 23 years ago. And now in the 34th day of a war that the president said was almost over 2 days before it happened, America has a weapons systems officer unaccounted for inside enemy territory. His family is waiting somewhere in the United States. The U.S. military is flying into active Iranian airspace looking for him. Iran's civilians are being offered a cash reward to find him first. And Iran's military vowed Friday to regain full control of the country's skies. The war that was described as almost over on Wednesday night had an American crew member missing inside Iran on Friday morning. You have the timeline, you have the statements, you have the contradictions, you have the drones lost, you have the helicopters hit, you have the A-10 down, you have the 4 aircraft struck in 1 day, you have the bounty, you have the shoot them order, you have the half of Iran's missile launchers still intact. And you have 1 American whose name we do not know, somewhere in the mountains of southwestern Iran, on day 35. The search is ongoing.